And through the tools and through the coaching and the disciplines, he is now, I am an entrepreneur who creates beauty in the world. I mean, holy cow.
All right, welcome Genesis Nation. And I am really excited today to have with us Miss Jill Young. Is it Dr. Jill Young, Miss Jill Young? Is that Mrs. Jill Young? What's best for
you? I guess it's just Ms. Jill Young right now. I am sovereign and free.
Amen to that. We may even have to dive into a little bit of that after we talk.
So, okay.
This may be a juicy podcast or a juicy right here. So welcome Genesis Nation to our listeners. And if you have not read this book, just get it now. Just click on, click on this link. We'll definitely put the link in the show notes below. But Jill is with EOS Worldwide, which is Entrepreneurial Operating System. And this book has been, it's a game changer. If you're a solopreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, even if you work within a business, to take from Jocko Willink, he's a discipline equals freedom. From some of my other teachers, like structure dictates function. Sometimes we get a little wonky with that one. However, for myself, I know that when my business is structured better, when my life is structured better, it functions better, even from the minute to when I'm waking up to putting all my things on my calendar. But we're going to dive into how we can apply some of these principles in your practices to help you run a more efficient business. Because if we're in business, we want to profit, right? Unless you're in a nonprofit business. So, and profit comes from efficiencies, and efficiencies are certainly learned through this EOS system. And we use a lot of these tools here at Genesis, from Bloom Growth, which is the app that allows you to use Traction for specific meetings. So I'm going to be quiet, and just, if you can just tell us, like, as chiropractors, because at Genesis, we want to propel the profession, not amplify and propel. And if we're not running good, solid businesses and leveraging technology, and I consider what Mr. Wickman put out as technology, and through his experience and wisdom, this is stuff we all need to apply. So just go. You take the horn, my friend.
I'm so excited to be here today. And can we geek out on profit for a minute?
Sure. Yeah.
This is going totally off this, but there's I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, working with entrepreneurial leaders and their teams, business owners. And this, I'm just kind of starting to discover this. Its profit is unnatural. In a state of nature, which I know you guys work with balance and alignment. So I think you guys will really geek out on this.
Yeah.
But in nature wants balance. It wants balance. It will work for balance. You think about water flowing into a lake or another river. It will find a way. The tree that has a rock tumbled on it. Okay, the tree will find a way to balance. Our earth finds balance. Our bodies. What you do for people, you align the spine, you align the body and the joints, and then then we get our own healing. Well, profit is unnatural. If you think about it, it's out of balance. You want more revenue than expenses. So left to our own devices, left to our own creativity with no structure, what you'll find is zero
profit.
Now, this is just a theory I'm contemplating.
I love
you'll find yourself with balance, because that's what the world and nature wants. So to create profit, we have to put intention. We have to put intention into that, into growing the company, creating the cash flow, watching the numbers, what gets measured gets managed. And what we've done, or what Gino did originally when he put in this book here, is he's just created this beautiful, simple discipline for paying attention.
Yes.
Ooh, look at that. Paying attention. Profit is tension. Intention. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're totally geeking out now.
There we go. I hope we haven't lost anybody. I hope that was a good hook to listen.
I'm hooked. So,
Okay.
where I get myself distracted when you say pay attention.
Yeah.
And it's a critical element because as chiropractors, we get so busy paying attention to patient care,
Mhm.
right? And the volume of patient care, wanting to see more people, wanting to do quality work, and also being at battle, not with other chiropractors. We're at battle with systems that have a lot more profit, right? You look at the most profitable companies in the world, and they're all pharmaceutical companies putting out a destructive message for humanity and health. And as chiropractors, we're looking to create health, harmony, and balance.
Yes.
So it's really interesting. And myself, I know my own experience. I very much got caught up with my head down and then eventually down into the sand and not paying attention. So how do we? What are some good disciplines that we as business owners and entrepreneurs can implement to pay better attention?
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that with us. That's a vulnerable moment
Thank you.
for you to say, hello, I got caught with my head in the sand. I have also got caught with my head in the sand. And there's a benefit, there's a real benefit to us running and supporting and teaching and coaching and creating tools to support these entrepreneurial businesses. You, the listener here, hopefully you're feeling like the third person in this conversation. There's a huge benefit. And sometimes we don't see it. What the tools and disciplines in traction have done for us is they've created this beautiful way that if we just follow the disciplines, the very simple disciplines, then it almost does it for us. It puts our attention on the right things for us. So we don't have to be thinking about, am I paying attention to the right things? Am I paying attention to the right things? And the benefit really is we can, small entrepreneurial companies, we can move, we can change, we can expand our business hours, we can detract our business hours, we can take new patients if we want to, we can not take new patients if we want to. Whereas those big companies, yes, they may have lots of profit, but they also have lots of red tape.
Yeah.
They also have a lot of politics. And what now I'm an abundance type of person, so I love like everybody to win. But I do see that we have so many benefits over those big companies because all of their red tape and politics sometimes creates them to make a bad decision with that profit that they have.
Right.
Whereas if we will use the tools and pay attention to the right things, and we'll get into some of them, then we can use our intuition. We're going to use data too, but we can use our intuition. We can make those subtle shifts. We can spend a little bit of time listening to somebody. And I just feel like my spirit is aligned with, we're going to make better decisions when we're just a little bit disciplined and a lot present, and take out some of that ego and feelings and the politics and the red tape. We don't need all of that. We have things that are very simple. I know I'm a little bit on a soapbox right here, but I just got to tell a little story, and then we'll get into some really practical stuff too.
This is the spiritual soapbox, and I think you're reading the room appropriately. So thank you. Please continue.
Okay, I will continue.
Yes.
Oh, this is good. I'm even feeling a little bit of like teary and tingly. This is good stuff.
Right.
I'm just going to say the real magic, the real spirit behind these tools, and I'll share some with you. And if they're all in the book, they're on the website, so you can find all the tactical stuff. But the stuff you and I are talking about, Brian, you can't find this in a book, right? This is just here with you and I.
Yeah.
The real spirit, the real magic behind it is its simplicity. And here's what I think our logical brains do. And here's what I've witnessed our logical brains do. We see the simple tools. We see that they're working. And then somehow our ego or our intellect says, that must not be enough.
Or it can't be it's too easy.
Like it's too easy. I've got to add stuff. That can't be, Jill, that looks like it's too easy. It's never easy. It's always simple.
Yeah.
And we want to add stuff. And I had an experience, it was about a week ago. A couple of us were gathered, and somehow or another, and I like irritate myself that this even got into my schedule because I'm so protective of my schedule. A couple of well-meaning individuals came to tell us, a group of implementers, that the system was too simple and you need all of this other structure and all of this other stuff, and you need like more data and more. And the message, and this is the second reason why I really think this works for this group of cool entrepreneurs that we're hanging out with right now, is that what these two gentlemen, well-meaning, they were trying to tell us that small business owners and entrepreneurs don't know what they're doing.
Mm.
And that irritates me to my cellular level, Brian.
Yeah.
Because they do. We do. Brian, you do. The other Brian, right? The other Brian, Jason, we do. And it is my most passionate desire to put this book in the hands of entrepreneurs. Use a coach like me if you need to, or if you want to. But you do know what you're doing. You just need some simple disciplines and tools. So anybody who feels like they want to tell an entrepreneur, you don't know, you're screwing it all up, I have a real problem with that, because we do know it's our entrepreneurial spirit, it's our entrepreneurial DNA. It built this country, it built other countries, it's built companies, that has built beautiful jobs for people.
It's like the lifeblood of American business.
It's the lifeblood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Global business.
So we do know what we're doing. Do we need a little bit of help? Yes. So that we're not so frustrated. I see entrepreneurs out there all the time running great businesses. They're doing a good job. They don't have these tools that we're talking about today. But you know who's miserable? The entrepreneur.
I was going to say their spouses.
Yes, and their spouses and their kids, and like their friends never see them. So the other, the third part of magic, if we will, that it's simple. We do believe that entrepreneurs do know what they're doing. We use a phrase that EOS implementers use, a phrase, the answer is in the room. Meaning when we meet with a leadership team and we're coaching them through this process, we believe the answer is in the room. It's our job as a coach to pull it out of you. But Brian, you have the answer that it takes, that we need to run Genesis.
Yeah.
The entrepreneur chiropractor, you do know what you're doing. Sometimes all we need is some simple tools and some space to think, get grounded, get balanced, and you do know what to do. Yeah. And then that third piece of magic, if you will, is you just got to stick with it. It's simple. You just got to stick with it. But
Consistency. Yes. Well, I like that. This is the kind of the philosophy or the spiritual side of Traction or EOS Worldwide. Yeah. So basically, you're, as an implementer, you help individual businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs implement these concepts of, that Gina Wickman put out through Traction. Right. If you could share with us, because all the nuggets are in the book, and working with you, you're going to get more and more, because you get the spiritual side, the philosophy, and especially in our profession, we are all healers, so we're leading with heart. For heart-centered leaders, which I look at the chiropractic profession as a heart-centered profession, no matter what. Even my friends and colleagues who are the most successful business owners in chiropractic, they're heart-centered leaders. So for those of us out there leading with our hearts, what can you give us, because we only have short periods of time here on these little Zoom interviews to keep with our own attention spans, what can you give us, your top 3 things to be focused on?
I'm so excited. This is awesome. This is so much fun what we're creating here right now, Brian. I'm hoping everyone else is having as much fun as I am. Because I love to geek out on this.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Send me. Yeah. Click and subscribe. I don't know. My boys do YouTube. I don't know. Yeah. Something like that. Okay, this is going to be fun. So those heart-centered leaders, what could we focus on? And you're right, all the details are in the book. Um, here's one that's good, and the others will come to me as we co-create this conversation. The first one that's really dropping into my heart for heart-centered leaders, and I love that you use the word healers, because I think that yes, let's go chiropractic industry healers, but let's also just allow ourselves to see that here's a chiropractic leader, but also you are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And 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 there's a lot of healing energy that comes from that identity as well.
Mm.
So I don't know where we're going to go with that, but let's just think it's entrepreneur, it's chiropractor. We'll kind of think of both of them in that healing
I mean,
sense.
it kind of brings in to me, like I've always defined an entrepreneur as someone who solves people's problems for money, so to speak, and we can qualify that even like solves people's money for exchange,
Mm.
and we
Yes.
can even start diving into conscious leadership, of course. Uh,
Yes. I've heard a great quote. It was uh, a French philosopher way back when, like 1700s. Entrepreneurship is bringing resources from one level of usefulness to another level of usefulness.
I like that even
It's
better.
raising the usefulness of
Yeah.
those resources. So, like, we could really dig in there. Here's something that I see that is it's a danger. So you have, chiropractor leader, you have a beautiful spirit, a desire to heal. And I have found that, especially for those heart centered leaders, there is a fear of discipline.
Mm.
And if we can click that fear of discipline into the courage to be disciplined, and I actually wrote about this in my own book. The book is called The Courage Advantage, because I was seeing this in a lot of my clients. There's fear, and humans have fear. It's a natural instinct.
Yeah.
We're born with it. It helps us survive, the attachment, all of that good stuff. So
Right.
we're
But
never going to get rid of fear, and it can actually be a tool.
right. So it's same as looking at like acute pain versus chronic pain, right? Acute pain is useful because it's our danger system and telling us and warning us of danger, but chronic pain is a completely different condition. So that's you bring up the fear of discipline.
The fear of discipline. And I'll just kind of give you a few
Real
examples.
quick, because
Oh,
then
yeah,
it's like
please go.
the fear of freedom, right? Because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was math that I did right there. So discipline equals freedom, and
it does.
we actually, so it's like ourselves in our own way. We're fearing what it actually would feel like to be free as an entrepreneur and a business owner.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Geez, you are so right. I've got two business owners I'm working with right now. And, if anybody thinks, oh, like, Jill, you've been doing this for 9 years, you're head coach of EOS Worldwide, you must be perfect. Please, no, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. Because I'm working with two business owners right now. I've been working with them for 5 years, and we still can't break through to exactly getting what this business owner wants out of their business, which is what I flipping, because I'm not sure I can swear on this podcast.
better off not.
Just yeah. So I'm just gonna not swear
Yeah,
until you give me permission to swear. But they're still not getting everything they want out of their business. They're still frustrated, and we're working through that. And it's been 5 years. So now their courage to be disciplined is they're just staying in the discipline. They're using the tools. But there's something I gotta help them unlock right now, and maybe it's their fear of freedom.
mm.
They're willing to be disciplined, but maybe there's something there. They could be afraid of their future. I'm afraid of my future
Yeah,
sometimes.
of course. Well, it's almost like that. The whatever the quote is, it's like be careful what you wish for because it may come true.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like we don't realize what it would actually feel like to have that level of freedom and creativity
Mhm.
in business. So speaking of
It's some,
creativity,
it's
what
some unknown for
what
sure.
are what are some disciplines that you've applied through EOS that help us be more creative? Because in the world of chiropractors, we're business owners, entrepreneurs. We're also very creative humans, more than, you know, at least from my brothers and sisters that I've met, we all have that creative spark.
So there's two specific disciplines I want to just share with the group that you'll find in the book and the free downloadable tools. You can email me, I'll get you the tools, I'll talk to you, whatever you need to do. But there's two of them right here. And the first one is what we call the Vision Traction Organizer.
VTO.
Yeah, the VTO for short. That's right. That's right, Brian. You know, because you guys run on EOS.
Yes.
The VTO for short, the Vision Traction Organizer. And just geek out with me on those three little words right now. It's vision. You got to know where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
That's that creative, right? That creative cycle. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. Awesome. Keep all of that. Vision. Traction. Here, it's at the bottom of the model. When you see the model, it's at the bottom of the model. Because vision without traction, it's just hallucination.
Yeah, it's just dreams.
And yes.
It's like sandcastles in air.
There you go. So what we've done and what Gino discovered, and all the tools are built around that, is bringing that traction or vision down to the ground here so you go somewhere. So it's a vision traction organizer. If we're not careful, there's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much. We have an idea. I just had a conversation with an amazing author this morning, and we said, hey, we might want to collaborate on something. We may collaborate in 10 years, 20 years, or 10 days. So it's actually not in my vision traction organizer or his. We're just still dreaming. Awesome.
And you're allowing the space for that.
And I'm allowing the space to think about it and love on it. And this is cool. But I don't now immediately take that back to my integrator, Lindsay, who runs my business, and say, oh, we got to get something going. No, because it's not in the vision traction organizer. That's not where we're going this year. There's something in our 3-year picture that might go into that. So I'm starting to get a little excited about that, but it doesn't take me off track to what we're doing this quarter. So it's that vision traction organizer. It helps you, it walks through 8 questions essentially to help you decide what you really want and then keep working to get there. Now, the beautiful part of that vision traction organizer, once you establish it, you're going to revisit it every single quarter. In the second tool I just want to share with you to help keep us on track and organized.
Yes.
And that discipline is the meeting pulse. Now, most people are like, ooh, gross, meetings. But the way we teach you how to have meetings in the Entrepreneurial Operating System is very best use of time, high efficiency. You mentioned that you guys like to use some software for those meetings. That's awesome. I hope you're still connecting with each other, looking at each other in the eyes.
Yes.
So we love software. We want to make sure we're connecting too. But every single time you meet, every quarter that you meet, you look at that vision traction organizer, those questions you answered, those things you declared, this is where we're going. It's who we are, our core values, why we're passionate. And you look at each other as a leadership team in the eyeballs and you say, is this still where we're going? And sometimes it's not. And either you got to get back on track with where we're going. And sometimes you're like, oh crap, our business is changing and we are no longer going this way. We're going this way. Maybe it's just 1%, but you look at each other and you agree to that.
Okay. And that's what's important because, as a business owner myself, and I'm distracted by shiny objects and squirrel, like, how do you stop that? Or how do you allow or create room for it? Because, if someone's more visionary and, they're not as much of like, put something into action, but that's their team can do that around there. Like, how do you maintain that discipline to not get distracted by the shiny objects or the new revenue stream or the new laser or this and that?
So here now I get to dabble in another tool. So thank you for that. So number one, we never, ever, ever want to stifle any of the creativity of the visionary, actually anybody in the company. Open to creativity. Keep the creativity flowing. sometimes we'll say in EOS, the visionary has 20 ideas a day, 2 of them are good. Now, the danger of that phrase is some people see that those 18 ideas are useless. Those other 18 ideas, that those other 18 ideas are a waste of time. And what I would offer to you is that those other 18 ideas are the raw material for future 2 good ideas.
Great.
Sometimes I've had visionaries take this a little too far, and they've said, well, I don't want to distract my team with my creativity, so I'm just going to hold back and I'm not going to say much. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. We need your creativity. We need you to keep shoving out those ideas, even if we don't execute on the squirrels. Sometimes that little squirrel of an idea is gonna trigger something in you, Brian, that gives you the right idea. So
do you have buckets arranged for squirrel ideas? Like, okay.
Yes, so thank you for getting me back on track, because I was so excited about we don't stifle creativity. But here's the place for that. Visionaries have lots of tools available to them. The first one is a clarity break. So visionaries, anybody can take a clarity break, but visionaries especially, I like them to get clear on what they want. What this looks like is they just spend some time at least once a week for an hour. I like to push them to 2 because it helps your brain settle a little bit, and just really write your ideas down. Think about it. Where should we be going? Give yourself time to be creative. From that pool, a lot of times that's where they bring their 20 ideas. Now they bring their 20 ideas to the second tool. It's called the same page meeting. This is a same page meeting in EOS, where you meet, the visionary meets with the integrator. The integrator is the person who's really responsible for filtering all of those ideas and saying, hey, I hear your 20 ideas. These 2 are good. And those other 18 gave me an idea there. And if there's anything relevant to the company that we don't execute on right now, we take those other 18 ideas or any other thing that we're not executing on right now, and we put it on an issues list. Now, an issue, although on the surface it might seem like, oh, those are problems. In EOS, we have a new definition of issue. An issue is an idea, an opportunity, a barrier, or an obstacle, anything that we just haven't tackled yet that we want to tackle at some point. And we have a issues list called the long-term issues list. So it means that idea might actually be a great idea, but not today. Or even it's a bad idea, keep it on the issues list. That's fine. But we harness all of that energy and we just say, not now. But we rarely say not ever. We just put it on the issues list. You can work through those issues. Half of them just fall off naturally because, I am also a visionary entrepreneur. I look at that a month later and go, oh no, I don't want to do that. And I cross it out. But it just gives us some space. It gives the idea weight. Sometimes it brings it into reality when we didn't even know this is something that we wanted. And oh, we did that. And look, it was over on the long-term issues list.
Giving something weight. Really important. Like, so even with someone on your team that may be that visionary, that person keeps throwing ideas like, okay, we're going to give this weight and we have to WAIT to address it at the appropriate time.
Oh, wait and wait.
Yes.
Oh,
we can geek out on homonyms all day.
I know.
So with this system, it appears, and I've experienced this myself, it's way more proactive to prevent being reactive. Like, are there specific tools that are set in place? Because as chiropractors, and chiropractic itself is proactive, and many of us work to be more proactive than reactive in our care. So like what systems are put in place to help us do that in our businesses?
And I would say this is also something we should probably mention if somebody is interested in the tools. You can use 1 tool, 2 tools, 3 tools. I did that a dozen years ago. I didn't realize it was a full system, but just like chiropractic care, you know, my son right now, he has an issue with his elbow, an issue with his upper back. We visit a chiropractor. He's right over there. I can like literally see his office. I jump across a little river to go visit him. It's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
And you know, Dylan doesn't go in there and say my elbow hurts, and you know, doctor works on his elbow. Doctor works on the whole system.
Yeah.
Does whole full adjustment. Because if we just use one tool, if he just works on the elbow, you might alleviate a symptom, but that's not what you and I are in the business of. We're in the business of treating the whole. So it is a holistic system. So when you say what tools or systems really help us see proactively, that's where it is the whole system. If you choose to just use one or two tools, is it going to help you move forward, give you some clarity? Yeah, right? It's a Band-Aid, but it's the whole system that's really gives you that proactivity. And let me just kind of explain, or just maybe share a little story of what happens most of the time. The beginning of really implementing this system is intense. I remember even when I first started going to a chiropractor my third time, you know, I have phases in my life. I'm in care right now. It was intense. I didn't know the doctor yet. I hadn't had an adjustment for a while, and he asked me to come 3 times a week. It's intense, right? It's intense for a while.
Time and body.
Yeah. And now we're in a phase where I go about once a month, sometimes every 6 weeks. And when I go every 6 weeks, he's like, Jill, you were supposed to go every 4 weeks. You get all of that.
Yes.
And it's the same thing here. So when we start the system and you work with a coach like me, we've got 650 coaches around the world. So if you're interested in working with a coach, I can personally help you find one. So as you start working through the system, it's intense in the beginning, and it doesn't feel proactive at all, Brian.
Yeah, because you're putting out old fires, or
old fires.
When you pick up that carpet too, there's a lot of dirt underneath.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm so glad you used that analogy, because I like to use it too. And that's my job as a coach, is to lift up the rug and point.
Yeah.
What's under there, Brian? And you're like, oh, no, I haven't seen that for years.
Yeah, and you got to look at it. Yeah, for sure.
That's right. So that, you know, I shine the flashlight, and then of course I hold you in, you know, love and light, and no blame and shame, just telling the truth. Let's get rid of this so we can turn it into something awesome, because that's what a good coach does.
Yeah.
So this is what I've experienced. Do you experience momentum right away? And do you experience clarity right away? Yes. The proactivity piece, you start to dabble in it in about 5 months. I don't know why that is. I'll have to really think about that, but it's just about 5 months, you start to go, oh, we've taken care of 3 of our big issues that are at the root cause, that weren't just symptoms. We fix them at the root cause, and we start to see this momentum. And then you start to unleash this creativity that's been holding you back because of the mud that you put on yourself as you grow a small business. We start to release some of that. And what I see is these leaders coming together and asking themselves, wow, how much more could we do in the world? How much more useful could we be? How many more patients could we see? Oh, now that we feel light, right? We feel light, like buoyant. This is great. We're grounded, right? We're grounded in the tools, but we're also, we see some hope. It's that, you know, hope and stability at the same time. What can we be? And that's where the tools really usher in the proactivity. And we get you thinking 3 years out. That's our 3-year picture. We get you thinking 10 years out, 10-year thinking. Not really to say, oh, this is our detailed plan, because we would all 100% be wrong 100% of the time.
Yes.
But to really get you thinking around, what do you want? What do you want your business to contribute in the world? What do you want for yourself? Be self-focused. So those are some tools that help you start really thinking in the proactive. Brian, that was a really specific question. So I'm also wondering maybe what you have seen, what tools you've seen that really have helped you and the leadership team there at Genesis really
That's
getting
great.
pro.
You're interviewing me. I love
Oh,
it.
I did. I'm a coach, so it's really hard for me to not be curious. Like,
For myself, I love the structure of the meetings because, you've heard the term death by meeting, right?
oh yeah, that
Because
different kind of meeting,
right,
right?
then they end up being useless, and you're like, why am I just meeting to meet? And my time is too valuable. I got things to do,
Yeah.
and so there's actual structure where we're reviewing issues and then taking action items and following up with to-dos this all it's spelled out in the book as well, and applied. It really is. It makes these meetings effective, useful. You come out, I feel productive. I know what I need to do. I'm using our task system within Genesis to create even stronger follow-up with timelines and assigning certain people. And one thing, this may be a little offshoot, but when you talked about integrating, putting anything into place is painful.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. And like, is being content feel better than the pain? Because for me, it's like, no, like that's complacency. Like, complacency doesn't feel better. I can handle a little bit of pain to get to the point where things are operating and we're at a place of freedom and creativity. So there's so much wisdom you can offer. And if everyone here, like if everyone in the profession could just get an EOS coach, it'd be great, because we have a fight. Chiropractors are fighting, and for our businesses to be successful, that's what my mission is, and my vision is to be involved from a larger consulting perspective instead of in my own practice, because I want to help propel the profession at large. And we need strong. We need to be strong in politics to fight insurance companies. We need to be strong in entrepreneurialism and business tactics and strategies, so that every business can run successfully. So I'm hoping that talks like this can bring us all together so that we can collaborate, instead of thinking the chiropractor down the street is my enemy. Like, no, it's like the chiropractor down the street is my friend, and I can learn something new from him or her, and still, have sovereignty in my own creativity there. So, can you leave us with
so much good stuff in there?
We could definitely, we're going to keep going with it. Can you leave us with like a cool success story that you've seen?
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to leave you with that. But before I do that, I just got to geek out on what you said. Cut me off if I'm any more than 2 minutes.
No, you're good.
There is a real this might be too personal for a public podcast. I'm just going to say it anyway. There's a real serendipity between what you, Brian, Dr. Brian, as an individual are doing at Genesis, and what I, Jill, as an individual are doing at EOS Worldwide. You felt the call to say, wait a minute, it's not just going to be my own practice. I'm not just going to do this thing. I want to add my time and talents and energy to the profession, to what we're doing out in the world. That's exactly what I've done too. For the last 9 years, I've been an EOS implementer. I'm still an EOS implementer. I'm a coach. I've got my own clients, all of that. That's one piece. And then I'm also head coach at EOS Worldwide, because there's a passion there of what we're doing, what I see that I'm just doing in the session with clients. Can I take my time, talents, and energy and create this exponential and feed into all the 650 coaches in our organization? So I just had to say that. And I admire you and I love you. You're my brother, right? Or someone here. We're spreading the love. So
together. So on.
So thank you for that.
Welcome.
And we have the same philosophy that you do. Our 650 EOS implementers, we are not competitors.
Yeah.
We serve the same target market, right? In the same neighborhood. We work together to find people like, your clients, chiropractors, to find you the right coach.
Yeah.
I really hope that if I walked into a chiropractor's office and they said, Jill, you need traction. That's funny. Same word. What is that? What do you call that? Decompression?
Traction. Decompression.
Yes. That's really funny too. Now, we don't have that table, but my buddy down the street does. I really hope they'd send me there, because that's what we need. And that's just how our organizations are aligned. All right.
Awesome.
Now, a success story. Oh, we've got so many. But I'm gonna go with one that's just off the top of my mind. So I've been working with a client now for 7 years. In the beginning, he thought, I'm a roofer. I'm a roofer. He had a partner. They didn't see eye to eye. Through implementing the tools, we put together a leadership team. The client of mine, he bought out his partner because they didn't see eye to eye. That's a real thing, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes for partners,
I know,
don't have the same vision.
Yeah.
And that implementing this pulls all of that out. So watch out for that. He hired an integrator.
And the opposite occurs, doesn't create traction when the partners don't agree. So I've experienced.
That's right.
Go.
Just stifles everything. It stifles everything. So he started to gain traction. They simplified their business. They created more of a repeatable business versus just selling another roof. They're winning awards right now. And this client just took his whole leadership team and their spouses on a trip to Guatemala to build homes.
Nice.
That's what his true heart is. But they have enough resources to do that. And he brought high school students from, a city here in McKinney, or a city here in Texas, down to also build houses in Guatemala. Think about the exponential of that. And they're opening a new business now.
And that's global impact right there.
It's global impact. And now he's opening new businesses, and he's gone from thinking, I am just a roofer, right? A mindset shift. And through the tools and through the coaching and the disciplines, he is now, I am an entrepreneur who creates beauty in the world. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's the one that's top of mind.
I'm so impressed that you didn't just curse right there, because I would have cursed. So
well, I wasn't really can't if you guys get permission. And this is your show, Brian.
No,
I want to honor your
better
show.
off not cursing. It's because we can't open that door. So Jill, this was phenomenal. We need to do more of this. So thank you for your time and your expertise and your wisdom. Yeah, of course. So our listeners out there, if you want more of this, we'll put the connection info down below. Obviously, get this book, get it today, get it through Amazon. Super easy, obviously. And at Genesis, we use this in our system, in our business, and we're actually, we'll be sending out just general content on some of the concepts that we found useful and effective. And you can talk to Jill about coaching, and then also let's collaborate and keep sharing ideas below, and so that we can all win. So thank you so much.
I'm particularly passionate about healers in the world. Chiropractic has been a very big part of my life. It healed my mom when I was just a little girl, and I got my mom back. So there's a soft spot in my heart for chiropractors. So really, if you are thinking about using a coach, it might not even be me, but I just want to make the offer. If you're thinking about using a coach, book a call with me. I will help you hand pick the right coach. I'm just that invested in you getting everything you want out of your business and living your ideal life.
Right on. Thank you.
Thanks again, Brian, for having me on. This was super fun.
Yes, it was.